Good morning, dear students, and welcome to your English class. Today you will learn a touching, true life story of a sister's unconditional love for her brother and her untiring efforts to fulfill his dying wish in the lesson The Concert by Shanta Rao. Before I commence with the lesson, let me ask you a few questions. Do you like music? Well, most of us love music. Music elevates a person's mood. It helps to reduce stress and soothes the mind. We come to the next question. What does a concert mean? A concert is a public musical performance in which a number of singers participate. We now move to the third question. Have you ever attended a live concert? Yes, many of you must have attended a live concert of your favorite artist like A.R. Rahman, Rahul Vaidya, or Justin Bieber. And finally, to the last question. Have you seen a concert on television? Yes, concerts on television are aired occasionally of talented singers like Usha Uttup, Shreya Ghoshal, Arijit Singh, and so on. Let's now know a little about the author of this touching story. Shanta Rao was born in 1930 and she died in 2007. She was a notable dancer from Mangalore in India. She was the exponent of Bharatnatyam, Kathakali, and Kuchipudi. She was the recipient of Padma Shri and Sangeet Natak Academy Award and Kalidas Sanman for music, dance, and drama. This is a true story. All the names of the characters are changed except two names. The first is Pandit Ravi Shankar. Let me throw light on Pandit Ravi Shankar. This sitar maestro was one of India's most influential sitar virtuoso, which means an expert or a champion of the 20th century. This Bharat Ratna awardee influenced many other musicians throughout the world. He performed till he died in 2012. To mark 100 years of cinema, the Department of Post released stamps to honor his name in 2013. The other person is Ustad Allah Rakha. He was an Indian tabla player who specialized in Hindustani classical music. He frequently accompanied Pandit Ravi Shankar and was largely responsible for introducing tabla to the Western audience. So let's begin with the lesson. I shall read the lesson paragraph wise and explain to you. I request you to pay careful attention. One morning, in a small apartment in Bombay, a girl of about 16 looked up from the newspaper and said excitedly, Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing tomorrow at the Shanmukananda Auditorium. Shh, said her mother, pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. You'll wake him up. You know, he needs all the sleep and rest he can get. But the boy on the bed was not asleep. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he said. Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro. He raised himself up on his elbows for 1 second, then fell back. But his eyes were shining. We mustn't miss the chance, he said. I've always wanted to hear him and see him. So children, let's begin with the explanation. The story begins with Smita, a 16-year-old girl who lived in a small apartment in Bombay. Now today, we no longer call our city Bombay, but we call it Mumbai. The name was changed in 1995. Smita was reading a newspaper article, and it's always natural when we read something exciting, we blurt out the sentence loudly, and this is exactly what Smita did. From this sentence that Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing in Shanmukananda Hall, we know that Smita is a great fan of Pandit Ravi Shankar, and he was to play in Shanmukananda Auditorium, which is in Matunga in Mumbai, the following day. Without even realizing, Smita raised her voice and uttered the sentence. At that moment, her mother said, Shh, be quiet. Your brother is sleeping and you will wake him up. And he needs all the rest. Children, look at this picture intently and you will see that something is really wrong with the boy. There is an oxygen cylinder near him and he is having difficulty to breathe. He is lying down in bed, very ill. His name is Anant. And when he heard Smita, he is also very excited that Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro, will be playing himself. And maestro means an expert. And even without realizing, he raised himself on the elbow, which means to prop up on bed. He said, we must not miss the chance, and he always wanted to see Pandit Ravi Shankar and to hear him. We come to the next paragraph. Lie down, son, lie down. His mother sprang to his side. He actually raised himself up without help. She murmured with a catch in her throat, and her eyes turned to the idols on a corner shelf. The prayer which she uttered endlessly came unbidden to her lips. Now, children, when Anant raised his elbow and spoke, his mother immediately came to his bed and urged him to lie down, as her son was very ill and she was constantly praying for him for his speedy recovery, and she was overwhelmed because, being terminally ill and weak, Anant had raised himself. Unbidden means without even asking. Now, children, I move on to the next paragraph. I must hear him and see him. The boy repeated, It's the chance of a lifetime. Then he began to cough and gasp for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on his sister. Now, for the explanation, the boy said, It's a chance of a lifetime. That means an opportunity which is very rare and it may never ever come again. And Anant, being a great fan of Pandit Ravi Shankar, was eager to see his idol and hear him play. Even the few words that Anand uttered made him cough, and he had to be given oxygen. Now, this is the oxygen cylinder. And even while he spoke, he looked at his sister Smita with hope that she would say something. Moving on to the next paragraph. Smita bit her lip in self-reproach. She had been so excited at seeing the announcement that she had not remembered that her brother was very ill. She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely and spoken words that neither she nor even her parents could understand. But somewhere deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. The word cancer had hung in the air. Here we learn that Smita is upset for blurting out the news of Pandit Ravi Shankar playing in the auditorium the next day. She has disturbed the boy and she became nervous. She realized her brother was very ill and the doctors just shook their heads, stating there is no hope for the boy's recovery and survival. Though the doctors spoke amongst themselves seriously, nor Smita or her parents understood what was said. But deep down, Smita knew that Anant, her brother, would not live long, as he was diagnosed with cancer. I'm sure, dear children, the word cancer sends shivers to our spine, and we always hope and pray that it does not affect anybody. I'm now reading the next paragraph. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and they would return together, a small family of 4, to their home in Gaganpur. And he was only 15 and the best table tennis player in the school and the fastest runner. He was learning to play the sitar. They both were taking lessons, but Anand was better than her, as in many other things. He was able to compose his own tunes to the astonishment of their guru. The cancer had struck and they had come to Bombay so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. Now for the explanation. This was a family of 4. That is Smita, her brother Anand, and her parents. Though Anand's condition was very bad, still Smita pretended that all would be well and they would go back to their hometown in Gaganpur as a happy family. And what was alarming and heartbreaking was that Anand was only 15 years old and he was a super talented boy. And they had come here only for treatment in Mumbai. Now Anand played the sitar and he excelled at table tennis. Also, he was the fastest runner in his school. Now, though both Anand and Smita had enrolled for sitar classes, Anand's talent surpassed that of his sister. That means he was better than Smita. And he had even composed a few tunes of his own, which was excellent for a child of his age. And this was something that amazed their teacher, whom they called as Guru. And then the unfortunate happened. When life was going so smooth, without any warning, Anand was struck with cancer. And the family came to Mumbai to treat him at the cancer hospital. Children, today there are a number of cancer hospitals all over India. But in those days, the number of reputed hospitals was very limited. I now proceed to the next para. Whenever they came to Bombay, they stayed with Aunt Sushila. Her apartment was not big, but there was always room for them. They had come with high hopes in the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Anand would be cured at the hospital and he would again walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. And he would play the sitar, perhaps be a great sitarist one day. So now for the explanation. Dear children, the treatment for cancer is time consuming as a number of tests are to be done. Weeks are spent in hospital and a lot of care has to be taken. So, whenever Smita's family came to Mumbai, they stayed at Aunt Sushila's place. She was a kind and a considerate lady with a large heart. Her flexibility to accommodate Smita's family, in spite of living in a small apartment and providing support to the family in their moment of crisis, is commendable. Now, Smita's family came to Mumbai because they had high hopes in the miracles of modern science. And children, you all must be aware, Mumbai is the home to the country's best cancer hospital with good doctors and advanced equipments. Anand's parents felt that he would be cured from cancer, be healthy again, and may even be a renowned personality someday. We shall now see the next para. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said, "Take him home. Give him the things he likes. Indulge him." And they knew then that the boy had not many days to live. But they did not voice their fears. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anand with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave him whatever he asked for. And now he was asking to go to the concert. The chance of a lifetime, he was saying. Dear students, this paragraph is so pathetic. Isn't it deeply distressing that a young boy is suffering so much? And as the days passed by, Anand's cancer grew worse. The doctor sent him home as he had not many days to live. Therefore, Anand's loving family tried to fulfill all his wishes, since they knew that his time was limited. I now proceed to the next para. When you are better, his mother said, this is not the last time they are going to play. Smita stood at the window, looking at the traffic, her eyes wet with tears. Her mother whispered, but you, Smita, you must go. Your father will take you. When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice, no, how can I? We have always done things together, Anand and I. So here, my dear students, you must have understood the serious condition of Anand, and his wish was to go to see the concert. But his parents could not fulfill his desire as he was physically bedridden. His mother consoled him, saying that he could go to the concert when he got better, though all in the family knew that this was impossible. Smita was very sad. She stood at the balcony and looked at the traffic. Later, when she was alone with Aunt Sushila, she cried out. How could she go to the concert without Anand? The brother and sister had done everything together. Don't you feel Smita is so loyal and loving? Therefore, our family should be our first priority in life, as they are with us in our ups and downs. Now let's move further and take the next para. A walk in the park might make you feel better, said Aunt Sushila, and Smita was grateful for her suggestion. In the park, people were walking, running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, feeding the ducks, and eating roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone in their midst. She was lost in her thoughts. Suddenly, a daring thought came to her, and as she hurried home, she said to herself, "Why not? There's no harm in trying it." So now I shall explain this para. Now Aunt Sushila was such a considerate lady. She advised Smita to go and walk in the park and get some fresh air. Children, let me ask you the advantages of going to a park. Okay. People visit parks to relieve stress, get some fresh air, stay active and healthy. And children can discover nature and connect with friends. In the same manner, in this park, people were walking, some were running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, feeding the ducks, and eating roasted gram and peanuts. There were so many activities going on, but Smita did not feel connected. Her thoughts were only with Anant and his wish of seeing and hearing Pandit Ravi Shankar play. Suddenly, a bold thought came to her. And children, I'm sure by now you must have realized what the bold thought would be. It would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we'll get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar. She said to her mother later, and her father agreed to get the tickets. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, "Enjoy yourself." Though the words came out in painful gasp, "Lucky you." Now, in the evening, Smita expressed her wish to go to the concert. But the actual motive was to fulfill Anand's desire and plead to Pandit Ravi Shankar to come and sing for him. Her father got the tickets for the concert. Thus, when Smita and her father were going to attend the concert the next day, Anand was very happy that at least his sister could attend, though he could not do so because of his weak condition. This shows Anand's love for his sister. He is not jealous or sad. Children, this is true love and an emotional bond. I am now going to the next para. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard, as in a dream, the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. Then the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of a land of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow plaintive notes, the fast twinkling ones. But all the while, the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. The chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every beat of the tabla. Smita is seated in the auditorium with her father, and the moment Pandit Ravi Shankar came on stage, the audience gave him a thundering applause as he was a very popular sitarist. Smita was enchanted with the music. She sat there spellbound as the ragas were coming. First, there was sad music, and then there was tinkling fast music. Such was the beauty of language displayed in this paragraph. Now let's watch this live performance. As Smita was watching with rapt attention and enjoying, she was still thinking of Anand and his words, a chance of a lifetime, and her plan to meet Pandit Ravi Shankar after the program. Now I'm reading the next para. The concert came to an end. The audience gave the artist a standing ovation. A large mustachioed, having a large mustache man made a long, boring speech. Then came the presentation of bouquets. Then more applause, and the curtains came down. The people began to move towards the exits. In this paragraph, we learn that the concert came to an end, and the audience stood up and clapped. After this, a man with a large moustache came and gave a rather boring speech. After this, there was presentation of bouquets to honor the guest, and the curtains came down and the people were now going home. Now let's take the next para. Now was the time. Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly. In the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert, to help carry bouquets and teacups and instruments. He was there, standing with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Allah Rakha. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up and standing before them, her hands folded. "Oh, sir," she burst out. "Yes," he asked questioningly but kindly. And her story came pouring out, the story of a brother who lay sick at home and how he longed to hear him and Ustad play. Now Smita saw Pandit Ravi Shankar standing with Ustad Allah Rakha, who was equally famous. Let me now ask you a question here, children. How will you feel when you are asked to go on stage and give a speech without any practice? Surely you will experience a strange feeling of anxiousness. In the same manner, Smita gathered her courage. Her knees felt weak. Her tongue was dry. but she gently burst out and quickly told her story about Anant and his dying wish with her hands folded. Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him? She asked at the end breathlessly. Please, she begged, please come. Little girl, said the mustachioed man, who had made the long speech. Panditji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such a request. But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, What shall we do, Ustad Sahib? Your motion means made a sign. I will now continue with the next para also. The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one cheek to another. Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy. Yes, he said. Yes, Panditji replied. It's settled then. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. Did you hear him? He whispered. I did, she replied. And I spoke to him. And he'll come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad and they'll play for you. Your word means a soft, compressed lump of something. Now when Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Raka heard Smita, they were moved by her sad story. And what does this show? This shows their humane and compassionate nature. These two dignitaries agreed to come and play for Anant to fulfill his heart's desire. And this speaks very highly of these two great gentlemen. When Smita came home late that night, Anant was awake and asked her about the program. Smita excitedly told him that the next morning Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Raka would come home and play for him. And now we proceed to the last paragraph. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men get out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. Is it? It's not possible, they said. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Raka went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window, and played for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him, gently, very gently. And children, now we come to the saddest part in this lesson. The next morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors who were in the balcony saw two famous men getting out of the taxi. These ladies were wondering why these two popular men were coming to their humble place, and they could not believe their eyes. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Raka climbed the wooden stairs and knocked gently on the door. They sat on a sofa by the window and played for Anant. The room was filled with music, and Anant's desire was fulfilled, and his heart was satisfied and peaceful. Slowly and steadily, he passed to another world with a smile on his face. And with this, we come to this beautiful, sad saga of Anant and Smita. What a beautiful story, my dear children. And I'm sure you must have felt so many emotions going through. We have learnt many values in this lesson: love, compassion, patience, kindness, and we must implement these values in our life. So, children, love your parents, love your brothers and sisters, spread love, and make earth a better place to live in. And with this, we come to the end of this lesson. Please copy the answers given in the PDF file. Thank you for your participation, and God bless you all.